Hi, everyone, and welcome to our NanoSIMST information session. I want to welcome teachers and thank them for giving time out of their very busy day to learn about our program. So I want to begin with a land acknowledgement. Even though we're not together on the Stanford campus, it's important that Stanford acknowledges the ancestral lands. So this is a short video that we have made in conjunction with the Ohlone tribe.
Stanford sits on the ancestral lands of the Ohlone tribe.
This land was and continues to be of great importance to the Ohlone people.
Consistent with our values of community and inclusion,
we have a responsibility to acknowledge, honor, and make visible
the university's relationship to Native peoples.
And you can learn more about all the native lands in California at this website. Okay, so welcome to NanoSIMST. SIMST is an acronym we use a lot. It stands for Summer Institute for Middle School Teachers. So I'm going to be giving a few things. First one is an introduction to the program I am affiliated with, which is Nano at Stanford. Second is an overview of the program itself, and then there'll be ample time for question and answers. So to begin, Nano at Stanford is an umbrella organization of 3 what are called open access facilities on the Stanford campus. So these are labs that house equipment that is used by many, many different types of people that we refer to as users. So they're not just used by Stanford students or Stanford postdocs or professors. They're open to literally anyone in the world who wants to come, and they can get trained, pay a fee, and get access to equipment that runs from, $500,000 to, $20 million. And more importantly, get trained on how to properly use the equipment to do their research. So we have users that range from your typical grad student at Stanford to startup companies that want to prototype and try out something new, but don't have millions of dollars to build their own lab. We have people from other academic institutions that don't have our kind of facilities, also government lab users, and of course, industry users. So you never know who you're going to meet in our facilities is one of the things I love to say, which keeps it interesting. So I'm the Director of Education and Outreach. My name is Daniela Duran, and I'm going on my 2nd year here at Stanford. I love science, and I love being able to share the amazing work that's being done here at Stanford, as well as promoting STEM in general with the K through 14. I myself was a high school teacher in public school for 25 years before I came to Stanford. So I'm very aware of the trials and tribulations of being a teacher. And I'm happy to be in a position where I can try to support teachers in their role to help students learn and really get excited about the future. So that's why I say that I love science, because I truly believe that science can help make the world a better place for everyone. And that's just a picture of my bulldog because she's adorable. So this is where I work. This is the Science and Engineering Quad at Stanford. It is a relatively new building. You'll notice a rainbow here. This is a picture from this year. One of the things that you get access to when you become a part of this program is field trips where you can bring your students to campus if you're in the area. And if not, we also have virtual field trips as well. But this is a day when it was a stormy, windy, floody day. We had a group from Sacramento that drove all the way here, which is a good 1.5 to 2 hours drive. We didn't know if they were going to make it. And then we saw the rainbow come. And it was a wonderful day. And we saw students, 150 students that day. And it was really a wonderful day for everyone. So our teacher education program has been running since 2017. We have 112 alumni that have impacted over 5,600 students, and we want to continue to grow that number. So middle school is an interesting time, as I'm sure you all know. As a high school teacher, I cannot imagine teaching middle school. I think that you all deserve so many things I can't even imagine. When I taught here in California, I had, at least 35, 36 students in all of my classes at the high school level, five classes a day. So I know that we can impact quite a large number of students every year. Teachers can provide that deep and broader impact. And I know that programs like these can really help with teacher retention. I was part of a high school nano program that actually kept me in teaching a decade longer than I otherwise would have been, because it really re-energized my teaching, helped me as a learner get excited about content and bring that to my students. So that's really what my mission is to help teachers continue to find joy in their job that they can then bring to their students. Middle school seems to be something that there's less professional development available to, which is part of why we're focused solely on middle school. We have high school teachers that email us and we say, sorry, it's just for middle school teachers and students. So you are our target audience. I mentioned we have two programs. So the first is the On Campus at Stanford. It's a 4-day workshop. We go all day. It's like from 10 to 5. It is action-packed with tours of our facilities, talks from staff, and most importantly, hands-on activities that you can translate directly into your classroom. So you get to wear two hats during these days. You get to wear the learner hat as a student, which I think is extremely valuable to remind us of what it's like to be a learner, satisfy our own curiosity. And then the other hat as the teacher and thinking about how can I translate this into the classroom for my students. So this happens in June. We have an optional fall follow-up to help support your classroom implementation. The on-campus supports between 13 and 15 teachers. And we have implemented since last year travel stipends to support those that are coming from more than 30 miles. And so there's kind of a range of things that we can do. They're small stipends. They're really just looking at paying for gas so that you're not using your $500 or $800 stipend on gas if you're coming from that far. So that is an option. This is an example of an agenda. We have themes. So day 1 is understanding nano. Day 2 is making nano. Day 3 is seeing nano. And day 4 is applying and teaching nano. So there is crossover, but these are the general themes. And we help investigate these topics through all those different modalities that I mentioned: talks, tours, demos, activities. And then, of course, at the end of each day, we have a small amount of lesson planning time for you to try to think about how would this work in my classroom. Here are some examples of activities that teachers were working on together. We have a 100% recommendation. That's what the thumbs up is for, which I know as a teacher is really hard to come by because teachers are the worst students and the biggest critics. But we have a 100% thumbs up that they would recommend it to a colleague. We try to provide you with as much support as we can, so giving you that stipend for your time, but also providing you with classroom kits so that you don't have to put things together to do this in your classroom. And we actually we're part of a network that goes across the country called the NNCI. So there's 16 universities that are involved in that. So we bring in speakers from those areas that might be relevant. And so you learn about a lot of different resources, as well as some remote use of high-powered tools like scanning electron microscopes you can actually bring into your classroom virtually. So there's a lot of things that you get to learn about where you're not having to Google and go down that rabbit hole, but we're bringing it to you, we're curating it for you. This program is something that actually benefited a silver lining of COVID, because during COVID, it was shifted to online. So this virtual session was kind of forced upon us. And then I thought that it went really well. So decided to see if we could add that as a second option for teachers. So we did that last year. We were able to reach 21 teachers instead of roughly 13 across 11 states. That also allowed us to invest in more Title I schools because teachers, we could reach further. This year, we've actually increased the spots to 30. So we can take more teachers this year because we've gotten more sites that are sponsoring teachers. So that is also an option, is the virtual program. We try to translate as much as we can to the virtual space. One of the things that we had to do was extend it to 5 days because you cannot be on Zoom from 10 to 5. So they're shorter days, but then we added an additional day. But it's the same concept. We have themes for each day. We have talks, tours, demos, activities. It's virtual talks, virtual tours, virtual demos, but the activities we do together because we mail you that kit of supplies. So you're doing with us, we're doing together, which I think is one of the key parts of why this program is so highly rated, because you're not just sitting there on Zoom, getting distracted and not being engaged. So I mentioned the classroom kits. We definitely show you all the resources across our network. This picture here is an example of a virtual tour of our clean rooms. We have a staff member who runs it live and takes us. We have cameras that go through different parts of the lab, and we can talk with him and he can show us things. And it's a really great experience and something that you can also have for your students as well. This picture at the bottom here is a scanning electron microscope interface that you can actually run virtually. Again, an experience you could translate into your classroom. Again, we maintained our 100% thumbs up from teachers that participated in this. So our ultimate goal is for you to take this and put it into your classroom. So we want to provide you with enough resources, enough support to say, this was a great experience. I want to share this with my students. So, so far, 22 of our 31 teachers that we had last summer have implemented. My goal is 100%. So I'm still working on seeing what teachers need to do that. I mentioned the optional fall virtual workshop that's open to everyone. And there is an assessment. We work with Arizona State University to have you take some pre and post surveys and things to help us justify the value of this program so that we can continue to expand as we ask for additional funding from other sources. I love this picture right here with the faces covered, because this is a teacher who was so excited about what she did. She brought it to her own school and her own district and did a little mini workshop of what she learned in the summer with other teachers. So it was really fantastic to see that. Here's some anonymous feedback. Best workshop I've ever done. This comment was made both in person and virtual. I really appreciate this comment down here about I was talked to as though I can understand what is going on, even if I do not know all the jargon and tech speech. And I think that's really, really important, because sometimes when we learn something new, we can get lost in that. So we really try to engage you as a learner and implement strategies that are going to help you feel successful. So here's kind of the bullet points of why apply. You get to become a part of this amazing network of nano educators, learn about the future of science and technology, energize your classroom with the science of what I call now and tomorrow, right? What's in our books is science of the past. And so we want to show them why it's valuable to learn this knowledge and skills today. Access to field trips and resources, and showcase opportunities for students in high pay and high demand careers. Something new we're doing this summer is we're integrating career information, because there's a huge push in the semiconductor industry to increase the pipeline, to get more students interested at a younger age in knowing what a semiconductor is, knowing what electronics can do and how they're valuable. So that is something new this summer that we're excited about, and hopefully something that your students will be interested in. So thank you for your time.